GameSpot co-op stage, we are here with some WWE superstars. First, we have the former NXT champion, current #1 contender for the WWE Universal Champion, going head-to-head this July at Great Balls of Fire against Brock Lesnar, the one and only Samoa Joe.
Very good to be here. Very good to be here.
Thank you, thank you. Matt, who else do you have?
Sitting right next to me, he is a part of one of the longest reigning tag team champions of the world, member of the New Day, host of UpUpDownDown. And this Sunday you'll be facing the Usos at Money in the Bank. Give it up for Xavier Woods, everybody.
Yeah. Also, got second place in the Street Fighter tournament today.
Very nice. Well, welcome to E3, guys. Thank you so much for being here. We have a whole hour with you to talk about video games, wrestling, and anime, all the things you want to talk about, all the things you guys love. If you guys didn't know, they're also huge gamers, which I love. I saw you guys on UpUpDownDown talking about video games and rap music and all the things that you are super into.
Yes.
And so let's talk about what kind of games you saw at E3 2017. What did you see?
So the main thing that we did yesterday was Call of Duty, World War II, and Joe's huge World War II buff.
Absolutely. Huge World War II buff. Very excited about the game. And as we expressed, you know, it's boots on the ground, and we put the jetpacks down. So
that's the
no
slogan.
more running from me. No more running from me in Team Deathmatch. Now you got to stay on the ground. I'm going to find you. So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, it's really cool being able to use a shovel in trench warfare. As soon as somebody comes around the corner, you just use a shovel to like stab them in the face.
Oh my God.
And not that it's like, and I want it to feel real, because that's terrifying for one.
Yeah.
But it feels real. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, you never knew you wanted to hit somebody in the head with a shovel until you played this game.
Yeah.
Really enlightening. I mean, I know I did, but that's
It's different.
it's different.
Did you play together on a team, or? how
Oh
did you
no,
play?
we played against each other.
Oh, have to.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
It's a good friendly rivalry.
It is.
Of
It
course,
is.
but who won? Who won?
No, his team won. He didn't win.
All right.
Like,
I won
big
because
difference.
I got 6 kills with a shovel.
Yeah,
So
but
I just won
But
overall.
he caught a lot of buckshot from me in the
I did.
chest. So
Just blindly charging him head on with a shovel while he's got a shotgun. So it didn't work out too many times, but I got him once or twice.
Awesome. All right. I also heard that you played some Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Did you get to play?
I did. We both did. And
All right.
So good.
yeah.
Let's talk about this game. This is my surprise of E3, my favorite game of E3.
Yeah.
But only because I'm such a huge Dragon Ball fan, and I know you are too. So who did you play as? What do you think of the game?
So with the demo, you could play as Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Majin Buu, Cell, and Frieza. So you got those 6
I
characters.
think Trunks too.
Trunks in it?
I think maybe. Nah.
No?
Said
No.
nah.
Okay. He's
Yeah,
fact
like,
checking.
nah, you couldn't, man.
But it's cool because it kind of feels like a mix between like MVC and Guilty Gear. But it's kind of like the Dragon Ball fighting game that we always wanted. You can pick whatever character you want to once the actual game drops. And it looks amazing.
It does. It looks just like you're watching the old.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
pretty much like a seamless episode of the animation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Which is, you know, kind of a thing that you see in a lot of games this year. But I think the biggest thing is just the fighting system was really revamped. It feels more like a kind of like an actual tournament fighter as opposed to something you kind of dash around and shoot missiles at.
Yeah.
And have these close encounters. So I mean, it was really slick, really polished, and surprised me because I'm not the biggest Dragon Ball Z game fan, but this game I definitely dug.
Yeah.
Who did you play as?
I think I had Vegeta, Majin Buu, and Cell. I think that was my squad.
Yeah. Oh, and after you select your characters, you can change their colors too, which I don't know. I'm like a geek for customization stuff like that. So like you can make Cell like all white with the dots. Like
Yep.
it's so sick. But like to his point of like the old school Dragon Ball games, like the ones of Super Nintendo and all that stuff. Like you're dashing around and like it's cool and it's fun, but as far as playing it in like an esports setting, like it didn't have that kind of feel to it, to us at least. But this one, like, I feel like we're gonna see this at Evo.
Yeah.
Like the year that it dropped.
I absolutely think it has Evo potential.
Yeah.
So, which characters from Dragon Ball would you like to see in the game? Or
Definitely
added to it?
Krillin.
Yes.
He's my favorite
Krillin.
Dragon Ball
I love
character.
Krillin.
Because people don't think about this. Like, nothing happens if Krillin doesn't die.
Yep.
If Krillin doesn't make that sacrifice, nobody turns Super Saiyan and the Earth is destroyed. So he's, to me, is the most important character in the show.
Yes. Clap for Krillin. Everyone clap for Krillin.
I mean, I like to see Piccolo just because.
Okay.
Piccolo.
You know, just because he's constantly disinterested after something happens. So I just like to see him like win. Just be like,
So is Krillin also your favorite Dragon Ball character in general?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
of those same reasons? And who's your favorite Dragon Ball character?
I mean, although we did have a big argument whether it was Vegeta or the Cell Saga, which was a little bit, but I think Vegeta as a character.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of dig him. I can relate to him.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
So have you watched Dragon Ball Super? Have either of you seen it?
So I'm so far behind in anime. I'm like on episode 5.
Yeah. But I know you're a big anime fan.
Yes, but finally I'm being able to get into it because we have a guy on the NXT roster, Brennan Williams, great black otaku. Check him out, and he's like our anime expert. He's like, dude, so there's like the 76th episode of Super. Oh my god! I was like, no. I'm on like episode 4. He's like, how you've had so much time? It's like, and I also haven't like really watched the season 2 of Attack on Titan yet.
You know what? It's okay. It's just okay.
There's so much to
I'm
watch.
sorry, that's just my
so much to
opinion.
watch.
Yeah, there's
But
a lot to watch.
I
There's a
love
lot to
Beerus
watch.
though.
Yes.
So, like,
I love Beerus. Yeah.
He's my jam, especially so in the movie when you see him and he slaps Bulma, and then Vegeta turns up. It's like,
Yep.
oh,
Yep.
you just messed
Yep.
up. So I'm excited to see what happens throughout the story.
Yep.
So I'm way behind, so a bunch of stuff just got spoiled for me. But I guess I'll catch up eventually.
I'm so sorry. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. Let's go back to video games. All right. What else did you see at E3?
We just took a look at Destiny 2.
Nice. I know you're a big Destiny fan.
Yeah, I mean, I dig Destiny. Played through it. Got raid partners and stuff like that,
Yep.
and it looked great.
Yep.
I think a lot more variety in the enemies and the play style, and it looks pretty ambitious. Looks pretty cool. We got to check it out on console and PC, and we played single player on PC. It was gorgeous.
Like the environments are just like,
and just kind of playing like the opening kind of scenario. It was it felt really big. It felt like definitely like a AAA title, something that you expect to see. So they did a real good job with it.
What feature are you most excited about in Destiny 2 that they've changed since Destiny 1?
So we didn't get too much into the features really. Basically we played some Crucible, and then we played through the single player, kind of the initial intro campaign. But mostly it was just kind of the feel of the game. It felt a lot tighter. Obviously, Bungie does a real good job when it comes to putting together the feel of their games, and especially the weapon feel and stuff. But this one definitely felt like it just altogether, it felt like a big improvement over the first, which is saying something because the first was pretty spectacular. So it was a lot of fun.
yeah. And I know one of the things that we've been talking about like the past 2 days is we know there's definitely a place for people who are reporting on games saying, oh, it runs at 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second. What does this do? What does that do? And for us, we're just focused on, is the game fun?
Yeah.
Like, does it feel like a fun game? And after we walked out, like, Destiny 2 feels fun. So it's like something that I want to play more.
I was still dropping like frame shade though. So it just
4K, 60 frames a second.
So it's 4K and it runs at 30. Because I just upgraded all my house with all the 4K stuff. So it's like I'm very demanding on my specs. So I'm always like, so 30 locked up for all the consoles. Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Who are you planning on playing Destiny 2 with? Do you have a designated group
I
of people?
have a few friends that I play Destiny with, and it's usually that group. And occasionally, like for raids, we got to kind of outsource and find a few other people here and there. Obviously, Big Show, Big Show by far is the biggest Destiny fan in WWE.
Amazing.
Without a doubt.
And one thing that people don't really know about him, so we kind of dove into that on UpUpDownDown, my YouTube channel. Go subscribe if you haven't already. His love for Destiny. And a lot of times I feel like people put us as sports entertainers in a certain box. They say, oh, you LARP for a living, this is what you do. That's who you are. But once you hear Big Show talking about Destiny, it's like the most passionate conversation that you will ever hear anyone
I
have.
love that.
And as soon as he finds out that you like Destiny or that you've played it, oh man, my light level is this. I got this. We're running raids here. And like my light is this. And you're like, whoa. Like, I play it, but like it's like a religion to him.
Yeah.
And he loves it. And it's very cool to see someone from our world who's got that sort of love and passion for a game. And he was here earlier this week and was able to work on them with the panel and everything. So it's nice to be able to kind of bridge the worlds together.
And he also has like no respect for you if you play a Titan. Like, none of what, like he asked me, he's like, "Oh, you play?" And then once again, overwhelm me with information. I was like, I play, but you play, bro. Like, you're about this. He's like, oh, so what do you? I was like, oh, I got to tighten it. What? Oh, you guys are scum of the earth. All right. And yeah, I don't think he's still got. I mean, he would be in my play group, but I don't think he's really gotten over it.
Hurts.
Xavier, you also, I'm noticing this fine medal around your neck.
Yes.
So you obviously played some Street Fighter this weekend.
Yes, I did.
Or this week. Tell us about where you got that medal.
That was this morning. There's a Street Fighter tournament. Blazed through it, got to the finals, and then was handled. And I was nothing I could do. But luckily, the second place medal is still gold, so I still feel like a winner.
Yes, you are.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Good job. Good job. Who's your main?
In Street Fighter V, Birdie.
Birdie.
But then if we're talking Tekken, King.
Oh, okay. Let's
So
talk about Tekken.
You guys can see me right there
Yeah.
if you want this work.
Yeah, we do have a Tekken 7 station here, so you can play after this. So I know you are also
Oh, yeah.
super into Tekken.
Yes, I am.
And who do you main?
I'm a Steve Fox guy.
Steve Fox,
Yeah.
all arms.
Yeah. Well, it's just that extra level of embarrassment. Like, I'm not even kicking, man. Like, it's really about the trash talk afterwards.
Who's better?
Oh, me.
No.
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 So we have to find out later.
Oh, well, we will.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's already in the works.
The skill runs deep.
All right. Okay.
Get Tombstone, you can get Giant Swung. I got power bombs for days.
I got you, Cheddar Bob. Don't worry about it. Don't
Wow.
touch these hands.
Wow. How much longer we
I'm
got
gonna-
till we can go?
A while. Sorry, you gotta sign for everyone here and take photos.
Okay,
first.
we can do
Yeah.
that. We can.
But anyway, so we've already talked about some games at E3. So Matt, do you want to talk about some wrestling?
Let's chat about some wrestling. Would you guys like to see some wrestling chat?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now you've made the jump from Raw to SmackDown. New Day is finally there. I'm very excited. I'm sure lots of people out there are as well. For you, who were the people that you wanted to work with the most on SmackDown within the tag team division?
Breezango.
Yep.
So I've been really close with Tyler Breeze like for years, all throughout developmental. We've just been like this. So being able to see him grow in this capacity with Fandango and see their like whole sexy cop thing take off, it's hilarious. And that's kind of our wheelhouse, is being like the fun, entertaining comedy thing. So the fact that like we can play off of them and we have like that sort of like relationship bond with each other like in real life, it makes it so much easier to do in front of a camera and out in the ring. But then also like the Usos, they're just amazing talents, and they're finally getting the opportunity to break out and show like who they really are. Because like what you see on TV, like the way that they act and the way they cut their promos, like that's them. Like those guys are hysterical. But if something happens, like they will get hood. And it's nice to see that finally come out on screen, and people are kind of getting the taste of it. But honestly, like, all the teams with the Colognes, we got American Alpha, Ascension. Like our goal as the New Day, I guess essentially, is not just to build ourselves up, because we are obsessed and love tag team wrestling and want to make sure that there's a spotlight put on the division. And so I think on Raw you kind of saw. Once we, at the time, and then I think it was Cesaro and TJ were a tag team, and all the teams kind of came together and built it up. And it went from like on the pre-show to Mania to like having a spot on the show at Mania. And like that's what it's all about. So we're excited to be able to be at SmackDown and hopefully band together with all the other teams and do that again.
We be appearing on more Fashion Files.
Oh yes, 100%.
All of them.
100%. Fashion Files to me is the best thing on WWE right now. It's hysterical.
Joe, you were the #1 contender for the Universal Championship. Congratulations on that. So going into Extreme Rules, you're in this this group with you're all the top guys at Raw. How did it feel going into that match?
To be honest with you, it's one of those times where you have such a gathering of talent. I mean, everybody involved in that match is probably you would consider one of the greatest performers in the world. And going into it, I was pretty confident, felt good about the whole thing, and I think that night we produced something special, and the outcome tipped in my favor, and I was very happy that it did. So it was an opportunity that I very much look forward to going into it.
Going to Great Balls of Fire, you know, how are you feeling about that match?
I can't wait.
I
I can't wait. I can't wait for Great Balls of Fire. And it's the truth. Brock Lesnar's a guy that I've lobbied for before I ever stepped foot into the WWE. I've made a career and I've made a reputation of taking on the toughest competitors in the world from any and every company. Brock Lesnar was on that short list of people who have yet to come across, and especially on such a big stage. And when the opportunity was presented to me, I jumped in full force, and I'm very much looking forward to our encounter and for being the next Universal Champion.
So you definitely say this is a dream match for you then?
What's that?
Would you say this is a dream match for you then?
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. It's a dream match and a dream scenario because, if I'm going to become champion, I want to take it from the very best in the world, and that man's Brock Lesnar, and I will take it from him.
Any more coquina clutches for Paul Heyman?
Hey, listen, I have a lot of respect for Paul. Tremendous advocate, tremendous individual. And I've stated this before, Brock's not a man who sends messages through words. As great as an orator as as Paul Heyman is, Brock Lesnar, he's a very action-based man. When he decided not to show up that week, he was sending me a message that he didn't sweat me. And then he sends Paul Heyman forward and he says, Paul, go tell him about his impending doom. And it's mind games, it's strategy. Paul, he's a master of it. And I understand this. So when somebody sends a messenger like that, you send the messenger back with a message, except mine was just as physical as Brock Lesnar's is. And if Paul Heyman decides that he wants to, if Paul Heyman decides that he would like to send me another message, I'll be more than happy to stick a note in his pocket and send him back to Brock.
Is there any routine or rituals that you have to kind of coming out of the curtain and going onto the stage to kind of get into that Samoa Joe mindset?
They know. I'm very unapproachable. Coming through the curtain. I kind of I go through a kind of a series of just kind of martial arts warm-ups I've done for years. And then it's I call it waking up the limbs. So it's very, very aggressive, mean slaps to the legs, arms, thighs, face, chin. And most guys are sitting there back there going, what the hell's wrong with this cat?
Yep.
And I've even had Vince go, Jesus, and then I walk through the curtain, it's game time.
Yeah,
Xavier's nodding over there. Tell us what you've
it's
seen.
interesting because for me and my guys, our warm-up is very different from Joe's warm-up.
Please do tell.
We're like dancing and hopping around, and we see Joe across the hallway beating himself like mercilessly. I guess it's like as if he can beat himself like this, if somebody else does, it's not going to hurt as bad. But yeah.
It's pretty much the theory behind it.
Yeah. If you've ever like woken somebody up too early and they're just real mad at you, they don't want to talk to you, like that's how Joe is right before he goes out. You kind of give him a wide breath as he's coming down the hallway because he's in the zone.
Yeah.
The New Day's been a part of some of my favorite segments in WWE in years. In years. For you guys, what has been one of your favorite segments or most memorable moment?
I would probably say, okay, so there's two, and I don't know how to like say one's better than the other, but one would be when we got to go back and forth on the mic with The Rock, because The Rock has his style, that is that Attitude Era style, and we have our like PG-13 style, and so both being in their own kind of wheelhouses, clashing on microphones, like that's a dream to me, because he obviously like one of the best promo guys ever, if not the best. So as soon as they told us, oh, you get to do this today, and it's like, what? It's like, and you get to get people's elbow, and like, what? It's so sick. This is amazing. That like coupled with taking a stunner at WrestleMania, mind blowing. But segment-wise, probably, and segment is match as well. Probably the moment that we had with the Wyatts at Battleground, where Bray was trying to take my mind from me. Because that was something that, I don't know, we like stories within stories, and so to be able to tell that story to the point where everyone understood it without words necessarily was just very big moment for me. So I don't know if it's something that resonates with everybody like in the crowd, but like for me it was a big personal win.
Well, it's very different than the New Day's, normal routine. You guys went very serious and very dark in that. And it turned out really, really well.
Yeah, so the New Day's done a little bit of cosplay. You've done some Dragon Ball inspired outfits, some Final Fantasy inspired outfits. Any chance we're gonna get more?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah?
That's like being able to mix cosplay and wrestling is the best thing ever because it's
Yes.
two things that I love. There's an event called Dragon Con that happens in Atlanta like every Labor Day weekend, and I'm 10 years deep there, and we've been cosplaying the entire time. So the fact that it could say, oh, this is what we do like on the weekends with our friends, but now like we're getting paid to do it on television. It's like, what is going on?
Awesome. Yeah.
And then also too, I feel like there is there's something that people have missed out on in I guess TV culture, I guess, in not having people in that market to say like, hey, this is a complete culture with people that are alive and awesome and they do great things. And I feel like being able to cosplay brings more eyes to it. And they go, oh, what is this all about? And then they see conventions like E3. They see stuff like MomoCon. They see people at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yep.
And they're much more accepting of it because they understand like there's a force and there's tons of people behind it.
Yeah. What kind of cosplay would you like to do? Do you have any ideas?
I don't know, like top of the line stuff. Probably if I could get some sort of like sweet Static Shock cosplay in.
Woo!
But like
Pretty
coming
sweet.
down like Shawn Michaels did at WrestleMania, like on the zip line, but we have it like electricity, so it looks like I'm flying through the air like the trash can lid. That's probably top of the
I like all of this. Make
Yeah.
this happen.
I
I've got
have to admit, I'd love to see you
Yeah?
slide down an electrified wire myself.
I've got a
Really into
cosplay
that.
suggestion. Could the New Day do Final Fight just so I can see Big E as Mike Hagar?
We're trying to get him to do Final Fantasy VII because I want to see him as Barrett.
Yes, yes. How did those Final Fantasy and Dragon Ball cosplays come about?
So the Dragon Ball cosplays, we were just thinking like, this is WrestleMania. It's huge. We got to do something crazy, and you don't know what's gonna happen the next day. Like something could happen and you're not wrestling anymore. So we try to live every segment like it's like the last thing we're gonna do. So WrestleMania, we're like, you know what? Let's dress up as something that's not necessarily wrestling-esque.
Yeah.
And long story short, I was told one time that I wasn't allowed to wear that Vegeta over 9,000 shirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, you know, you can't wear that. We don't have that cartoon like in our repertoire. It's not on the network. It's not something that we can use. And so that year at WrestleMania, I see Ronda Rousey get into the ring, and what does she have on? That over 9,000 Vegeta shirt. So I live and thrive off of this thing called spite. And people telling me that I can't do things, you know.
That's the truth.
It tastes delicious. And so at that moment, I said, I'm not going to wear a Dragon Ball shirt. I'm just going to be a Dragon Ball character. And so that day, I was like, we're turning my hair into Vegeta. We got Saiyan armor. Let's do this. And so it was like the best feeling in the world. But the funniest part of that story to me is the fact that once we came in the back, we did all the stuff. We were in the ring with Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mick Foley, and it's amazing, like, amalgamation of characters from back in the day and now. And as soon as we get through the curtain, it's not like me, Kofi, and E are sharing this, like, special moment, like, oh, that was awesome, guys. Congratulations. I'm glad we did this. Kofi comes to me. He goes, why did you have a tail and I didn't? It's the first thing he said to me, and it's like, all right, cool. That's how I know I'm messing with the right guys.
Yep, yep. Let's go back to UpUpDownDown. Let's talk about that channel. So how did it come to be?
So I wanted to have a channel kind of like what they do on like the Food Network, where they're traveling to different countries and stuff and trying the food. But as we travel around the country, I always find different arcade bars, and I always end up talking to the owners, asking them their stories, because I eventually want to have an arcade bar of my own in Atlanta.
That'd be sweet.
So I figured, why don't we just take a camera, talk to these people, and then everyone will know, oh, when you're in Portland, go to Ground Control. When you're in Atlanta, go to Battle and Brew. When you're in Brooklyn, go to Barcade. And they weren't too keen on the idea at the time because we didn't dive into the realm of video games at that point. And so someone in the office side wanted to make a YouTube channel, so we kind of melded the ideas together and said, let's just try to make a gaming channel. And I guess what? So 2 years ago, we came to E3. We said, hey, we're finally getting things underway, and told everybody what kind of videos we were going to make and filmed a few. And we're like, oh, I hope this works. And luckily, Vince McMahon and Hunter were really behind it, and they said, you know what, green light, doors open, do your thing. If it works, cool. If not, cool. But luckily, people enjoy it, and it's been working. People
You guys like it?
subscribing. Thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks. But I think the cool aspect of it is that it is a mix of being able to play games, but then getting actual personalities from the guys.
Yep.
So, like you said, the episode with Joe talked about games, talked about hip-hop, and you get a little bit more insight in the people you're watching on television, on the shows.
Yeah, that's awesome. So are we going to see any Injustice 2?
Oh, definitely.
Yep.
Definitely.
All right.
We did a little bit of a live stream. And sometimes, so before I start live streaming or filming, I'll get online and play for a little bit, and I test the waters. So if I lose too many times in a row, I just don't film that day. I can't look too bad.
Yeah.
Joe, when you mentioned Injustice 2, Joe nodded like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's on.
All right, so you're in on this?
But act the surprise, man.
Want it in Injustice too?
Yeah, you want it. That's the problem.
My Power Girl will put you in the ground.
Oh, you don't, man.
Who you
My
gonna
Green
use?
Arrow's nasty. Sometimes.
Who else would you get involved in a tournament?
Let's see. So we're still playing UFC 2 a lot.
Yeah.
That was like a sleeper for me. I played the first ones and like when they had it on like Dreamcast. It's like, okay, this is fun. But then once this one came around and a bunch of guys in the locker room started playing it, like that became like a staple. And it is one of the most fun multiplayer games that I've ever played in my life at this point. So guys that we get to play, like most of the cruiserweights play video games. So we get like Rich Swann in there a lot. The Usos love to game. Breeze loves to game. Obviously Kofi and E. Then we get like Bailey likes to get in. Sasha likes to get in. So it's like a wide array of people because it's one of those things you're just hanging out just like you were when you were kids. Like you're in somebody's basement just playing whatever. Like, oh, I might not be good at this, but I'm having a good time with my boys, you know?
Nice. What would you like to play on Up, Up, Down, Down?
Ooh.
You have suggestions?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like digging up stuff that we don't. So there was a game that like was really big too. It was K1 Kickboxing for PlayStation. Very, very underrated title. We played a ton in Japan. It became a big money game, especially amongst the American and the Japanese wrestlers. And they haven't done a game since, but if we could dig up a copy somewhere somehow, I'd definitely like to play that.
Find one.
Nice. What's next for Up, Up, Down, Down?
What's next? To just try to keep growing. So my biggest thing is doing collaborations with just generally people that are on YouTube, internet personalities, to try to figure out what they do and what they think works for them and their audience, and just building more bridges between wrestling and things that wrestling may not necessarily attach to. So maybe doing something
Like this co-op stage right
yeah.
now.
So like 5 years ago, we would have never thought that we'd be sitting here talking about video games for an hour.
Yeah.
But now, like, everybody understands there is this Venn diagram of wrestling fans and gaming fans, and there's that sect in the middle, and I feel like it's growing daily until they're just going to be on the same plane. Because, I mean, the way that we explain it a lot when I'm talking to a bunch of my friends is this is stuff that I got made fun of for when I was growing up. And even watching wrestling, so like past 13 years old, they're like, oh, what, you still watch wrestling? You didn't grow out of that yet? And it's like, no, because it's amazing. They're telling these stories of good versus evil through physicality. Like, we liken ourselves to artists because we wrestle on a canvas. We just use our fists and feet as paintbrushes. But we're creating an art.
Yeah.
And I think video games are the same exact thing. It's visual, it's audio, there's stories. And so I feel like it's the same exact crowd, both who got made fun of, both who just want to get left alone and do their own thing. And so we meld those together and just become even stronger.
All right, let's talk about the gaming community. So I saw you at Kinda Funny Live 3, and I saw you win at Street Fighter. So who else would you like to take in the gaming community at Street Fighter?
Yeah, play Cisco. Street Fighter.
Yeah, shouts to Cisco in the building.
I don't know. There's so many people, especially just like pro Street Fighter players.
Yeah.
Because getting just destroyed in games is something that I enjoy in a weird way because you learn so much.
Yes,
especially
that's how you learn.
Yeah.
If you win all the time, you're not learning anything.
Yeah, if you're the best guy in the room, you need to change rooms.
He's gonna learn today too. So
Oh,
throw that out
you
there.
heard that.
Right.
You heard that.
Come on. But yeah, honestly, any of the pro gamers that are out there, and as we bounce around to different events, like hopefully we'll be able to get out to EVO a little bit this year. That's like, please, hopefully. But yeah, honestly, anybody, because like, as far as like being good at these games, I'm like down here. So everybody's above, so I want to play with anybody and everybody.
Nice. Joe, what are you currently playing?
So we had this discussion earlier. So when you get off the road and like you've been out there for stuff, like there's games that maybe necessarily like you wouldn't think you'd play, but they're just easy to get into. So I mean I love Overwatch. I play a ton of that. Obviously a lot of the first person shooters, Battlefield 1, Call of Duty. But like you have to get amped up to play them, otherwise you're gonna get punked. So it's like, so when I get home, I find myself like, I'm not really pumped up to play Overwatch, but like I've been playing Ghost Recon Wildlands a ton, and I'm on this like kick to like 100% it. And it's like, you know, I start, I'm like, oh, I'll play like a half hour. And then like 2 hours later, I'm like, damn, man, I'm like looking for scope attachments for.
And how did you get into video games?
I think from a kid early on. I think, you know, and honestly, I don't think it's such a rare thing. I mean, when I speak to, you know, most people in my generation and going forward, you know, video games are a part of our culture, of our life. I think just as much as movies and television shows were a part of like previous generations' culture. So, yeah, I mean, I remember getting my first Nintendo Entertainment System, and that was my personal first video game system. And I think I've had every video game system since, and damn near every game. So it's, you know, it becomes an addiction and obsession, but it's one that has brought great joy to my life, and I've enjoyed a lot, and I continue to do, you know, and I will continue to do probably into the future.
Awesome.
I mean, he came to the locker room one day with a VR setup, and like 2 hours later, I had one delivered to my house, and all set up by the time I got home. So, yeah, I mean, it's something that is easy for me to kind of unwind after you've had a real stressful week, and both physically and mentally out on the road, to be able to get home, get in front of a game, and kind of transport yourself out into a different world for a little bit. It's a big help for this lifestyle.
So is the game that you're most looking forward to this year Destiny 2?
It's one of them. And actually, playing Call of Duty today, like I said, I'm a huge World War II buff. I loved Call of Duty 2 and the previous iteration. And I mean, I love Modern Warfare. My interest started to wane, but you just pick it up because Call of Duty is just something you pick up every year. But playing Call of Duty 2, I mean, playing the new Call of Duty now, it really, really got me excited and hyped up for it. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Tell us your backstory with video games. How'd you get into it?
So same thing with the NES. His first gaming system. But my mom always tells the story when people talk about games with her. I was terrified to play Super Mario because, to like little kid me, when you died in the game, you died in real life. So I wanted like nothing to do with it. So my sister would always play, and eventually she coaxed me into playing. And I was just very socially awkward, just super quiet kid. But my mom noticed that when I would play video games with other kids, that's the only time I'd really talk to them. And so she would set up like play dates for me to play Nintendo with kids, and she noticed like, oh, you know, he's like gaining verbal skills, he's not so shy. And so becoming friends with those kids through video games, then going to school, those kids essentially taught me how to talk to other kids. So video games essentially broke me out of my shell. And so like Joe said, it's a way to unwind, but it's like my happy place forever. Especially in that real awkward time of like middle school to high school, that awkward transition of being a weird age teenager.
Yep.
Sega Saturn was like my oasis. So I would turn off all the lights, and I had a purple lava lamp that would be going, and I would play like Clockwork Knight 2 until like the wee hours of the morning.
Taking me back.
Would you light a candle too?
Oh my God. Play some George Michael. Killing it. But yeah, it's just always been a way to wind down, whether school was frustrating or there's just like life stress. So even in adulthood now, like it's a way for you to have that escape and just go to a different place and play. And in adulthood, now I've gotten into MMOs, so I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 like it's my job, because it's amazing. And there's so many different kinds of people that play. So like, there's times where I'm playing with people who are in Japan, Australia, England, like Barbados, and just making friends all around the world through video games.
Yeah.
So that's what it's always been to me. It's been a social construct for me. And I know that nowadays there's so many people that think video games rot your brain, kids, you need to be outside playing in the sun. It's like, I think all things in moderation, but I don't think that video games have that negative effect. I think they have such a huge positive effect because they're allowing you to branch out in the social.
Also, you can turn it into a career. I wish I had played more video games when my mom was telling me, please get off the video games.
I think another thing too is that like, and when we talked about this before, is like we're from like the arcade generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the death of the arcade is probably one of the saddest things when it comes to video games, because
Same.
you know, being down there throwing your $20 in the quarter machine, and it was a meeting place, a social gathering place for so many of my friends kind of growing up. You know, before you're 18 and you're out doing the fun stuff. Like, I remember the arcade was kind of like the hot spot to be at, where everybody kind of met up and had a lot of fun. So, you know, I definitely, that's one thing that I would love to see come back. I mean, with the barcades, it's cool, but I think just the arcade in general, I think is just a cool social construct that I'd love to see, like, kind of come back into prominence.
Which classic games did you spend the most quarters on?
It was always like brawlers and like X-Men, Golden Axe, you know, stuff like that. You know,
Turtles
I mean,
in Time.
Turtles in Time, and of course, you know, like
Turtles
Street
in
Fighter and Mortal Kombat. The first couple runs of that, I mean, it was just it was always kind of an amazing thing to put your quarter up and know that you had next.
Yep. You want to take some Twitter questions?
Let's let's do some Twitter questions.
All right. So we got some Twitter questions in last week.
The first one's from Dan Reb V.
Okay.
He asks, what game do you believe you've put the most time in over the course of your lives? Joe?
Ooh. Oh, Fallout 4, easy. Ooh. Like it's actually recorded. Like I went on Steam like a couple maybe 2 weeks ago and I looked and I was like, damn man, like that's a lot of my life. Like
What was the time at?
It let's just say it was in the months.
Same question.
Mario Kart Double Dash. Easy. That to me, like there's no game better than Double Dash. It's like the most replayable game ever made.
Are you still playing it?
Oh God, yes. Yes. I legit have my Wii hooked up to my TV right now because old school Wii, you can still play the GameCube games on it. Dude, and it's the best.
Good answers. All right. Next Twitter question is from I'm Marsh Watson, and he said, "What's your favorite meal?"
Korean barbecue.
Yes.
Like yakiniku. It's like it's a great. You out with friends. You have a grill. And just
All you can eat.
It's meat. Chill.
That bulgogi.
Have a couple adult beverages and hang out, and it's a good time for everybody.
Mine would be stuffed crust pizza with pepperoni and bacon. Yeah. Slathered in Sweet Baby Ray's honey barbecue sauce.
Wow. All right. All right.
It's a lot.
What's our next question?
This one is Xavier. When are you going to be playing some more Switch games?
Playing Switch constantly.
I mean, I think it's referring to Up, Up, Down,
on
Down.
Up, Up, Down, Down. So things are in the works, possibly coming soon. But Switch is very intense in the locker room. I can say that. We've got a lot of people who have gotten into it because of our schedules, traveling all the time, being able to take that console with you on an airplane. And now that we have Street Fighter 2 out on it, like it's gone to like the next level. And so now I'm on SmackDown now, but Joe's still on Raw. He was giving me stories about some guys that are on the red side who just are into their Switches like nobody's business. So hopefully
they find a spot in the arena and it's just like that's where they are. That's where they're going to be for a while. And they put in their time on the Switch.
Yeah.
All right, next question we have from Marshall AJ. Samoa Joe, do you have full confidence you'll beat Brock at Great Balls of Fire?
Yes, and I don't know why anybody would think any different. I don't know. I think maybe it's gonna. No, man. Like I'm gonna whip Brock's ass. Like bad. Like I don't see why anybody thinks it's any different.
Yeah, there's no real other way to say that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like, I'm gonna whip Brock Lesnar's ass.
What's our next question?
From Marquise Candy, are you looking forward to playing Destiny 2 and checking out new areas in the game?
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah.
After we played the solo stuff on the computer, like it's like we were saying earlier, it's gorgeous, it's awesome, and the stuff that you see in the beginning, I don't know if we're allowed to like say it and spoil things for anybody, but like the fact that there are these new areas that are coming, that's always fun in new games. And Destiny being such a strong title, and it was so amazing with the first one that came out, and then all the expansions, like the fact that we've got the second one, whole new world of stuff going on, whole new stories, like super psyched to see everything.
Yeah, and I think like the MMO space in general is always something that's kind of evolving and getting better and better, and like, now you have the second iteration of it, and it's like, you want that, you think they're going to correct the things that they did in the first one and make the second one even better. So, I mean, I think out the box is going to be a better experience.
Nice. Question from Max. He says, what was your first video game and what is your favorite game of all time?
Yeah.
You can start.
Tough question.
So first game, Super Mario, and then favorite game, we'll go back, Double Dash.
All right.
Easy.
Easy.
Yeah, first game, it was Super Mario, I think, yeah.
The one with the duck hunt in it too, though.
Yeah,
Can't
we with Duck Hunt.
Yeah. If you
the
don't know.
double cartridge.
Yeah.
Came with
No,
both.
I actually had to get those separate. Yeah, I think they gave me like Gyromite with the robot that didn't work. And my favorite game, I mean, it's probably, and we've talked about this, probably Final Fantasy VI. Like,
Yeah.
Ooh.
just 'cause
Oh,
it was,
I saw that you guys were
yeah,
arguing
we
about
we
which
had an
best
argument
Final
about
Fantasy.
it. We did have an argument about it.
Seven's the best.
7.
And you were
6.
wrong.
All right.
Now up strife, man.
Next question is from Ali. Samoa Joe, what is your favorite Nintendo game of all time?
I just mentioned it right there. Yeah, I think that's it. Just hands down. I mean, it was I think it was the first like gaming experience that I had that the story was very riveting, and I was like really like engrossed in it, and I dug it. And I think it was like the first kind of masterpiece experience that I had with video games. Where before, you're just kind of playing for high score, but I was totally invested in it and very much about it, and had to complete everything, get the best ending, and do it the right way. So that'd be it.
From AJS, for Xavier Woods, rank your top 5 Zelda games, and how did you like Breath of the Wild? No pressure.
First for me is easy, and I don't know if this is popular or not, but Ocarina of Time. My first one, okay.
Why do you act like that's like controversial? That's not even close.
No,
to
because I've
Ocarina of Time. They remade it like 70 million times.
Dude.
It's so good. Like
I've gotten in like heated arguments and almost like ended friendships.
Okay, I can believe that.
Because like I have like a glass Ocarina in my house that you can, like,
over
play.
Zelda.
Yeah, and that's why I got this on my arm, because Ocarina of Time is my jam. Let's see, and then probably Majora's Mask.
Is this from 1 to 5?
Yeah, 1 to 5. Link to the Past.
Yep. Good one.
Then I'll say Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
And then in the first one, Gold Cartridge.
All right.
Gold Cartridge first
Classic.
one. Yeah.
Classic.
But yeah, Ocarina of Time is definitely like, and I think it's to Joe's point of like playing your first like masterpiece game.
Yeah.
That for me was it, because again, like being scared of video games at the beginning and then just kind of playing them casually. That was the first time that I was able to sink my teeth into something. There's characters that I just fall in love with, and then having the ocarina, being able to like have a horse that runs around like Epona, like it's amazing. So I think that's something that definitely sticks with you over time. So you not only have those nostalgia feels, but like this is one of the games that like changes the course of your gaming life and says, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life.
Yep.
And that's what did it for me.
Do you have a favorite Zelda game?
I think I'm pretty close to that.
Yeah.
I probably would swap like A Link to the Past a little bit higher up, but yeah, I mean, I think I'm pretty close to where he's at.
Cool. And the second part of that question was, what do you think of Breath of the Wild?
Oh, I think Breath of the Wild is fantastic.
Yeah.
We're actually talking, we've got a guy with us, Brian. We call him our dad because he makes sure we make it everywhere we need to go.
You call him daddy.
He asked me, he asked me, oh, you know, how many hearts do you have now? And I'm like, oh, 6. He's like, but you're like almost done with the game. I was like, yeah, I use all my points for stamina. I'm like, 4 stamina wheels. He's like, why? Just so I can climb wherever I want at any time. I can go wherever I want. He's like, you're playing this wrong. You need to reevaluate the way you're doing this. But yeah, it's really fun. At first, the weapon system was like super frustrating to me. Yeah. But then once you get a hang of it, like, oh, you just hold like 7 weapons at a time. Like, you're good. But you have a torch and you have a stick that breaks when you use it twice. But then you have this sword that hits for like 65 damage. So I think once I got used to it and got deeper into the story, it really started to like hit home and mean a lot more to me.
Nice. Okay, so you're at E3 2017. Is this your second, third E3?
This is third E3 for me.
All right, so how does this one compare to the last 2?
It's weird because, like I said, at the first E3, we just came in and we're like, oh, we're starting a gaming channel. Hey, guys, we're like on the scene. Like, please accept us. We're okay, we promise. To now, like, we're like on stage with you talking about like all this stuff, games and wrestling, and the mix that has been occurring for the past, like, I guess, like 3 years now. So it's very cool to see the progression in the like thought baby that I had so long ago, and the fact that now we have Joe out here with us. Like it's just awesome and it feels good, and the fact that like you guys are receptive to it and super supportive. Like I can't tell you like what that means to me as someone who's like putting their like life and soul into something. So thank you.
Yeah, look at this crowd.
It feels awesome.
It was awesome. Great turnout. Yeah. Cool. So your game of the show. Do you have one?
So we haven't gotten to play a lot of stuff that I've been super hyped about.
Okay.
But I think, besides like Dragon Ball FighterZ, like I really, really want to get hands on Spider-Man.
Yep.
Because like
me
I'm
too.
watching the trailers and everything, and then when everything ended, and then you go back, and then you see Miles Morales.
Yep.
I was in my hotel room losing my mind.
We were all screaming in the
Are they
GameSpot
gonna go like
war
with the
room,
storyline from the comic book where something happens and then he takes over, like, or is it actually him? Did he like do all that, then come down and take pictures? Like, what's gonna happen? So I don't know. I'm really excited about that. And then the Detroit.
Detroit Become Human?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that looks
good.
awesome to me,
That
and I'm
looks
very
really
into
good.
those story-based games. So like Until Dawn, like I played through that like 8 times, and then watched more people play through it. So like any game that has that kind of choose your own storybook kind of feel.
A lot of
really interesting
replayability
to me.
on that,
So,
yeah.
really pumped to see that. And then like we were talking about Anthem.
Yep.
Too. Like
Yeah.
this looks like the
Definitely
most
more of that.
gorgeous
Yeah.
game ever. Frostbite is like amazing.
Do you think that the Destiny comparisons are fair?
I mean, until I play a game,
Yeah.
honestly, I hate to make comparisons because
Yeah.
I think we do it too much in
Yeah.
general. I think, oh, well, that's just Destiny for this, or
Yeah.
that's just, you know, Call of Duty that. And I think every game kind of has its own feel. And I know developers work very, very hard to differentiate their IP from another. So I think it's almost irresponsible to kind of make that comparison because,
Right.
you know, especially after kind of being involved in the development process with other games throughout my career and just knowing like how hard these guys are working to make it something different. You hate to be like, oh yeah, you're just a clone of this. So I mean, that's why we definitely want to see a little bit more of it, get our hands on it, and you know, see for ourselves. But if it is, you know, that's the first thing that's going to come out of our mouth.
Is Anthem the game that you're most excited about, that you heard about at E3 2017?
I think so. For me, I
Yeah.
think so. Just because, I know my the people that I play with and that I do co-op with, like they were really into it, and I mean that that whole experience is very predicated on the people that you surround yourself with. So if they're about it, usually I'm about it.
Nice. All right. Matt, any questions?
Do you bring like a system with you when you go on the road? I know Xavier obviously does.
I don't have to, because there's literally 8
Yeah.
different people at any time who have a system on them. So it's not a necessity. I mean, unless you want to play in your room alone. But I mean, there's always a system set up in the locker room. There's always a system set up somewhere in the building at any point in time. Or if he's filming Up, Down, Down, there's usually, you know, all kinds of cool gadgets going around. So it's you're never at a loss for a system when you're on the road.
Who are you playing with the most usually during the week?
So I have a buddy of mine who I play with. Actually, hey, runs a great charity, Pops for Patients. If you're a pop collector and you want to donate and help out some kids, please check him out, popsforpatients.org. But a guy named Randy Lee, he's a good buddy of mine, and he's kind of like one of my main guys that I play with. He also helped me kind of do some administrating and when I used to run a Twitch channel, running my Twitch channel and stuff when I had time. And I have just kind of general friends that I've known for years that have kind of just been in my Xbox friends list, and I mean half of them don't even know that I'm a wrestler, which is hilarious to me because you know we're talking and then like, you know, a little quip will come up and they'll just be like, oh, well, what were you doing in Singapore yesterday? Oh, nothing. Shut up, get back to the raid.
Yeah.
Living a secret life.
Yeah.
So, do you guys play a lot of games together?
We
What-
did before
what
I
is-
jumped on SmackDown.
What is your favorite game to play together?
If I had to say, we've never played this before together,
Yeah.
but I
Okay.
know that it would be our favorite game to play together. Def Jam Vendetta.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes.
All
No
right.
doubt.
Any more wrestling questions?
I was gonna say, can we get Samoa Joe on jump scares?
You know I'm in.
Yes.
To see
Yes.
who doesn't jump, we have a tournament for that.
I just like, he understands that sometimes I just have violent reactions and
Yes.
stuff. So
Yes. So when we put him in the VR, I made sure to like step way
yeah,
back.
you better, yeah.
Because you don't want to get punched in the face. If you look at his hands, they're heavy and they hurt.
Show them to the camera.
I love your entrance music. It's one of my. It says so much about who you are when you get in the ring. How did that all come together?
So really kind of a crazy process. So initially when I'd come in, we had talked about entrance music, and the guys at CFO, I mean, they're incredible. They really, really are. I mean, just have an incredible talent for producing music and really in a timely fashion, which is for an artist is something unparalleled. And I'd come in and working with NXT, Hunter had asked me, he said, hey, listen, give me some examples of music that you like or stuff that you used in the past, and I just named off a few things. I've used several different, especially during my indie run, several different songs and music. One of them says "The Mama Said Knock You Out," but I've always used the Godzilla, the classical Toei Godzilla intro, which was kind of like sampled and used in a song called "Simon Says" by Pharoah Monch, and so I'd mentioned that they had produced the first song for me. And I came out to it, and then I remember I came backstage, and he asked me, he's like, you feeling that? You like that? I said, it's all right. I'm not really, not super duper about it. And he goes, well, he's like, we want to get it right. Let's change it. And so we had a big call, And you know, like I said, I started supplying these samples and music, and then I remember the first time they heard the Simon Says beat, they were just like, "This is the one." And they said, "Well, what do you want to sound like?" And I said, "I want to sound like Godzilla kicking over Tokyo." And he goes, "Give us a few days." And then 2 days later, my current music came out, and we were very, very happy with it.
Nice. So let's talk about some other entertainment. So we cover wrestling on GameSpot Universe, but we also cover movies, TV, comics. So tell us about what TV shows you guys are watching or super into.
Just started watching A Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, I heard it's
My
depressing.
God.
Depressing.
It is intense. So I have this thing where if there's a show coming out, then they have a book. I'll do audiobooks because like we're on planes all the time or at the gym, and I've been able to just multitask and listen to those books. So ran through the book and then started watching the show. Like, if you don't watch it, watch it. It is.
It's not
rough.
really like come home and relax type of show.
No, it's like I need to like put my brain into something that's
Yeah.
super intense and
Yeah.
like after the credits roll, like have a discussion about it type of show. That and like Black Mirror.
I love Black Mirror.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the Black
You
Mirror
like Black
bandwagon.
Mirror?
Yeah.
What was your
So-
favorite Black Mirror episode?
I think the social media one, just because
Yeah.
it was so
It
deliciously
was too
ironic.
real.
Yeah.
It was too real.
Like,
I couldn't handle it.
I actually know people like that, so it was just inside. I was just
Yeah.
laughing hysterically.
Yeah.
But I think that was my favorite Black Mirror episode.
Did you see the one that was about video games?
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Playtest? Yeah.
blew my mind.
Yeah.
Not to spoil anything for anybody.
Watch that one though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's really good. All right. What shows are you into besides Black Mirror?
Black Mirror. I really enjoyed Westworld.
I
thought
love
I
Westworld,
thought
yeah.
it was it kind of took me by surprise. I didn't go into it with like a lot of high expectations, so I think that really helped the viewing. I know other people, people, oh, it's a world beater show. It's the greatest ever. That's great. Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I don't think that's like a big surprise, but like, and it was cool. I got to work to do voiceover work on the Telltale game, and
Nice.
it was just a really cool experience to to see the process and kind of see this alternate story in that universe. And I mean, and like I said, I've become a very big YouTube head, man. Like I dig shows and a lot of series that are on there, and a lot of them on Vice. I like a lot of the Vice stuff, so that's pretty cool too.
Really quick, you mentioned your involvement in video games. So, do you have any insight into WWE 2K18?
We know that it's going to be absolutely amazing.
All right. All right. I'll take it.
But yeah, just be sure you're ready to check it out. Obviously, at a later date, more information will be coming out. But as always, with our yearly game, try to make sure that people love it.
Nice. What's your involvement like when you're in like WWE 2K17 and games in the past?
So for me, obviously doing stuff with the gaming channel and just making sure people know about it and
Nice.
that they know how to play it. And we have tournaments and stuff.
Yep.
And that, like I said a second ago, that people are enjoying it because that's the biggest thing. Like we talked about, we want to make sure a video game is fun. But with the WWE 2K experience, we want to make sure that you're being able to feel what it's like to like have that entrance or to build your own entrance, or like if you were a sports entertainer, like what would you look like? What entrance music would you have? How would the lights work? So that was always like the coolest thing for me, playing those like old school N64 wrestling games, like building yourself and having this whole persona. But now you're able to like draw your own designs on shirts. Like there's people that are out there, like let's say someone must have like a new set of gear at like at a SummerSlam or something. Like you'll see on Twitter the next day someone has drawn it and color corrected and put the little designs on it. It's like, how are you doing this? This is amazing.
Yeah.
So it's just cool that we have a community that is one, like well versed in the stuff that we're putting out, but then also have such a love for it that they're able to do those things and have such a good time playing it. So it's like shout out to the community for being awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's go back to, you mentioned Game of Thrones. Who do you want to see in the Iron Throne?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Yep.
Very good question.
Get ready. I'm going to ask you
I don't know.
next.
Ooh. In a malicious way, I kind of like the way it's worked out so far. Seriously's up there. She's doing pretty nice.
Woo!
But I mean, I think if they're going the way that I think they're headed, and then you never know because they will deviate. I mean, they've said that. We'll see how things work out with Jon Snow.
Yeah? Xavier?
Khaleesi.
Yeah.
Coming to Westeros. I have this like love for her. She's incredible. And we were actually talking about this the other day. Like, is it her? Because like we saw her in like the Terminator movie, and it's like, oh, she's awesome. But like
Yep.
in Game of Thrones, I don't know what she's doing like with the character, but like immediately as soon as you see her, like you're like sucked into that character. You're like, succeed, please. Like you're
Yeah.
the best. Mother of dragons, you came out of fire. What? This is unreal. So like
Yeah.
I'm a huge Khaleesi guy.
You think we'll see any more Stark reunions with the kids? You hoping for it?
I don't know. Game of Thrones is one of those shows where you can be so attached to a character that's been in there since episode 1, and then all of a sudden, all like him and his whole family die.
Don't get attached
And it's
to
like
a
now we have to
character.
start over. We're already so deep. What happened? So like even like I don't know if you guys like read the books or anything, but like so much stuff happens and you just lose so many characters. You're like, why? Why is
It's
this
the key.
happening?
Don't get attached.
Yeah, especially like with like the Red Wedding. When that happens, you're just like,
Yeah.
ah,
Yep. Feelings.
yeah.
Favorite Game of Thrones character?
Oh, the Hound.
The Hound.
Yeah.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
How about you?
It changes.
Yeah.
So like
Okay.
at first, I would say Jon Stark,
Okay.
and then it switched to what's his sister's name? Arya. So it switched to Arya Stark, but then it switched to the Hound, and then off the Hound like to Brienne. So like it's legit every like, couple of episodes.
Brienne's awesome.
But like I think a solid contender at all times is Tyrion. So
Okay,
if I
that's
had
fair.
to pick one,
That's fair.
Tyrion Lannister
That's fair.
is my dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So how about movies? What's the best movie you've seen this year?
Pop Stars.
From last year?
No, because Pop Stars came out this year.
What?
The Lonely Island movie.
Popstar
That's
Never
last
Stop- Never
year.
Stopping?
Last year?
That was
Technically
last
last
year.
year?
It's
That
also
was
the movie
last
this year too, though, if you want.
As you can tell, we don't get a chance to
Yeah.
go out
It's
and see
okay.
many movies.
Yeah.
Maybe you saw it this year.
I did see it this year.
There you go.
Because the Black Ranger's in it for no reason, like doing
Yes.
a Snapchat. It's really weird. It's like the best cameo ever. Okay, so then this year, I'm a Cyclops guy,
Okay.
so I like always denounce Wolverine. But I saw Logan. That movie's unbelievable.
Logan is
Like,
fantastic.
So
Yes.
good. As soon as you see her come out with the claws and she's bouncing around like a bouncy ball, there's like merkin dudes. I'm like, yep, I'm
Yep.
in.
Yep.
This is fantastic. But
Agree.
yeah, it does such a good job of telling a story. I lied. Not the best movie I've seen this year. Get Out.
Yes. Yes.
Give me the keys. Give me the keys.
That movie is a masterpiece.
Yes, because it speaks so much to real life. Like if you've been in that situation, not that exact situation, obviously, but you know
You've
that
been
there's
in
like
that situation.
there's this underlying fear of like
Yeah,
meeting
what?
parents. Yeah, just, you know.
On to your neighborhood, man.
It's not my neighborhood. It's elsewhere. No. There's this like underlying fear in the fact that they were able to capitalize on that like small thing and
Yeah.
turn it into like a horror movie. It's like we've been there before. You could kind of relate, and so that
no, what?
you just don't know. It's
Joe.
hard out here for us.
Joe, favorite movie you've seen this year?
So I haven't seen a ton this year because obviously it's been
A lot of work.
crazy, a lot of work. But I really dug John Wick too.
John Wick 2 was fun.
Yeah.
Did you like the first and the second one
Oh
equally?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Which one was better, first or second?
I kind of like the first a little bit better, to be honest
Yeah?
with you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, what movie are you looking forward to? Are you big into Marvel at all?
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking forward to the next Thor movie?
Well,
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
Black Panther.
Yes. That trailer is incredible.
Obviously, like just
So good.
I actually refused to watch the trailer.
Really?
I want to be just coming clean.
Okay. Good luck.
I've been so hyped about it. As soon as you saw him in the Avengers movie, I was just like, yes. So I just saw like a picture of it, and he's like in his throne, and I'm like, oh, you better tear somebody up. So that and movies that like haven't been announced or may not ever happen. Back to Static Shock. I want a Static Shock movie,
All right.
and I wouldn't be mad if your boy got cast. Just
Make it
saying.
happen. Make it happen. What movie are you looking forward to, Joe?
None, because I cannot reiterate enough. I have like zero time lately. He's tremendously busy. He does up, down, down. But
Yeah.
kind of on this latest run, I have had like zero time to catch any media. And I'm like a classic. Like I said, when we see movies, it's usually on like an international flight
Yeah.
because that's when everything's just out of theaters. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't had a chance to really sit down and say that I'm really
That's
looking forward to
fine.
anything.
All right, let's close out with what message do you have to video game fans and people that want to get into wrestling, people that want to get into video games?
If you love video games, you're not alone because there's an entire culture that stands behind you. There's an entire culture of people who have been made fun of and have been pushed in the dirt for loving these things. We are now adults, and we are now on stages like this. We are now wrestling and part of the WWE. We are now in music. We are now in football. We are now in soccer. We are now everywhere. So just know that if you're a child who's going through some things and video games are your only retreat, we've been there, and we got you.
All right, Joe, any last words for your fans?
And expounding on what he said, we play video games to be able to transport us to fantastic worlds and scenarios that we could never do in real life. And if you enjoy these scenarios, if you enjoy these tragedies, these dramas, these great accomplishments, and these great heights, then I guarantee that if you tune in and watch the art form that we call professional wrestling, you will see very much the same thing and experience very much the same thing. So please, join us in both realms, and we hope that you do.
All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to throw it back to the GameSpot demo stage. Thank you, Xavier. Thank you, Samoa Joe. See you guys later.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Thank you, sir.